Hey everyone. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the segment addition postulate. And hopefully this is a helpful video if you missed class or if you just need a refresher on it. So the segment addition postulate is basically a theorem, a rule we have in geometry. And it's pretty intuitive when you think about it. What it says is if we have one long line segment, for example, from A to C here, and we know the lengths of two pieces of it, maybe we have a point in the middle dividing it up into two pieces. One of those pieces is 4 centimeters long. The other one of those pieces is 10 centimeters long. We can find the length of the whole thing just by adding it together. So in this case, how would we find the length of the whole line segment? We just have 4 plus 10, and of course that is equal to 14 centimeters. It's just like saying you have a pencil that's broken in half. You measure each half of the pencil, and then you add those two lengths together, and you could find the total length of the pencil. Just like that, except with line segments. So we're going to look at an example of how we can use that, because I think this is where it gets tricky. It makes sense when we see it now, but how do we actually use this segment addition postulate? Okay, so here's an example of a situation where we might use it. Here we've got a long line segment from A to C, and it's got a point somewhere on that segment, point B. We're given a bunch of information. We're given the fact that from A to B is 17 centimeters, from B to C is 2x plus 1 centimeters, and from A to C, 30 centimeters. In this problem, we're trying to figure out what is x. X is equal to what? So I'm going to go ahead and show you two ways you can think about solving this. The way I would recommend is first think about which are the two smaller pieces of this line segment. What's the whole and what are the two smaller pieces? So first find the whole. The whole thing from A to C is 30 centimeters. So we know that the two smaller pieces are going to have to add together to equal 30. We also know that from A to B, it's 17 centimeters, and from B to C, it's 2x plus 1 centimeters. These lengths have to add up to be the whole. As you can see, this goes from A to B, this goes from B to C. That means it's going to have to add up to equal 30. So from A to B, we have 17, and from B to C, we have 2x plus 1. This is always going to be one of the smaller pieces, this is always going to be the other, and then what they're equal to is going to be the whole. But once we've written this equation, now you just have to use algebra. So we've got 17 plus 2x plus 1 equals 30. We can combine like terms here, 17 and 1. They're both constants, neither has an x. So we'll combine those and we'll get 2x plus 18. Note that we cannot combine 2x and 18 because this has an x, a variable, and this does not. So 2x plus 18 equals 30. Then we can subtract 18 from both sides. That's going to cancel this out, and we're left with 2x equals 30 minus 18 is 12. Now you would finally divide both sides by 2 to get x by itself, and you'd find that x equals 6. Of course, you could also check your work, and I would always recommend doing this. You know that these two pieces should add up to the whole thing, to 30. So now that we have that x is 6, let's check that. If x is 6, then 2x plus 1 is equal to 2 times 6 plus 1, which is equal to 12 plus 1, which is equal to 13. So this segment is 13. We already know this segment is 17. 30 does equal 17 plus 13. That's one way you can solve the problem and check your work. Another way you could solve it is you could think, all right, I'm going to keep guessing numbers that go here until I figure out what works. This way might take a little bit longer, but if you're good at guessing, it could be quicker. So you know that 17 plus 2x plus 1 equals 30. you want to figure out what goes here. What is this x? So we can actually go ahead and replace this x with just something in parentheses. Maybe I'll use a different color here. And what's it going to be? Well, maybe you think 5 is a good number to guess. So we try 5 in here. 17 plus 2 times 5, that's 17 plus 10 plus 1. Add that up, and you get 28. 28 is close to 30, but not quite. In this case, this one is 17 centimeters, and this one would be 11 centimeters. We add them together, we get 28, not quite 30, so that's not correct. So we can erase 5, we can try something slightly bigger, and of course we know the answer will be 6 because we just solved it. So we'll try 6 now. 17 plus 2 times 6 is 12. We do the multiplication first. Plus 1 equals what? It should be equal to 30. Add them up, and it does equal 30, which means that x has to be 30. Now, something to be cautious about when you solve it this way. If you have more than one x in the problem, every x has to be the same. This is a mistake some people were making today in class. They would say like x equals 4 for 1, and then later x would be equal to 5. If this is 1x and this is 2x, they're both the same x. So whatever you pick for x, everywhere there's an x, you have to use the same number. In this case, there's only 1x, 2x right here. We have to use 6. But if this was 30 plus x, we'd also have to include 6 there. Anyways, 2 ways you can solve it, by guessing and checking or by writing an equation. I hope this video was helpful. If you're still confused, send me an email, and have a great day.